Yo, what's up, everybody? Today we're back here. We got a new video today. We're gonna be doing a tier list video. We're doing the horror film franchise tier list. Yeah, I got this off Tier Maker. Someone made it. Uh, we got a lot of movies to go through here. Go ahead and kind of do a little quick scan. Oh, I don't know what Jurassic Park and Gremlins. I don't really consider them horror movies. I don't know what that is. Um, But yeah, there might be some that aren't on here that you might know about, or there might be a ton on here that you never heard of. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. But we got a big one starting it off. We got The Exorcist. Now we're basing this off a franchise. We're not basing it off of just The Exorcist 1. I mean, if it was Exorcist 1, it'd be S tier. Or what does it go up to? Yeah, it'd definitely be S tier. I mean, that's one of the greatest horror movies ever made, in my opinion. But as a whole, Exorcist 1, classic. Exorcist 2, it's alright. It's not too bad. I kind of think it gets a bad rap, but I don't think it's terrible. Exorcist 3, some people don't like. To me, it's meh. I might have to get into another shot. It's been a minute since I've seen it. Then after that, I can't remember where it goes. I know we got like Exorcist Beginning, and I know they brought out that other Exorcist recently with the two little girls. I didn't bother to see that. Exorcist the Beginning, I don't really remember. I remember it not being too great, in my opinion. But based off the first one alone, and the second one being a kind of decent one, I still think we're putting this in A tier. Like I said, I might have to check out some of the other ones that I haven't watched a ton, but I've seen the first one a bazillion times, and I've seen the second one quite a bit, and, pretty good. So, as of right now, it's going in A tier. We might move it later to B tier, just depending on kind of how full things get. But then we get to The Thing. Now, if I remember correctly, we got the original Thing from way back in the day. That was an awesome movie on its own. Then we got John Carpenter's The Thing, which I'd kind of maybe I'd kind of say it's more sci-fi, but it is horror. I mean, you could go either way with it, so I'm not really offended for it being here. Then we got the not the remake, but the one I think Kate Beckinsale's in, if I believe. I can't remember, but I remember it being really good. So it's kind of a series. I kind of like all of them, to be honest. Even the video game, I think it was like out for like PS1 or PS2, was awesome. It was like kind of a good companion piece. And I love The Thing, man. I mean, and you probably hear me saying this a lot, but it's one of my favorites. And kind of as a series, it might be kind of a surprise, but we're going S tier. I think The Thing all around is awesome. Silent Night, Deadly Night. This is a classic, man. I remember seeing this as a little kid and it's scaring the crap out of me. I ain't even gonna lie. Um, I was born in the 80s, early 80s, so I'm kind of older. So like a lot of these, especially like 80s movies, they're gonna kind of be right up my alley. But Silent Night, Deadly Night is awesome. I love it. Silent Night, Deadly Night 2, I think I like more. It's a terrible movie, but it's like so bad it's good. It's one of them movies that it's kind of famously like just bad. Garbage Day. I mean, who doesn't know that line if you haven't seen it? After that, I think there's like 3, 4, 5. I know I've seen them, but they're not great in my opinion. I don't care for them at all. I think like so this one, I think it's, oh man, this is hard. I don't want to like put everything in A and S tier, but man, I love the first two a lot. But then it's got at least three that are just downright terrible. So I think we're going B tier. I think we have to go B tier for now. Resident Evil. Now this has got a ton. I don't know. This one's hard. I would almost consider this more sci-fi, to be honest, or even action as we get later. The first one, I remember the first time I seen it, I remember thinking it was okay. The second one, I actually kind of liked more than the first one. Excuse me. The third one, it was okay. But then after that, I was just like, all right, man, I'm done. I'm checked out. Like, it just, like, to me, each Resident Evil movie just keeps getting worse. I'm not super high on these movies. I don't think they're bad by any means, but they're definitely not my favorite. I would have loved to see the George Romero version of Resident Evil. That would have been really cool. But in my opinion, kind of like the games, each one kind of goes downhill. Um, so yeah, Resident Evil. We're going D tier for right now. The Fly, we got The Fly. So we got the two originals. I think it was Vincent Price, man. The original Fly movies are awesome. I love them. But then you got the Jeff Goldblum Fly, which is awesome too. I mean, the Fly series is not bad as a whole. It's not one of my favorites. I'm not a huge body horror fan. I kind of like that stuff more when I was younger, but getting older, I'm just not really into that stuff anymore. But, I'll still go back and watch like the black and white ones, man. I really like those a lot. So The Fly, I think we're going mid-road. I think we're going C. I know you guys might not like that, but, it's just my opinion. Then we got Candyman. Candyman, the first one, I'm not really big on it, to be honest. It's all right. I mean, I think it's a little overrated. I mean, Tony Todd's great. He's, I mean, I shouldn't say that. I guess it's okay. It's just not like a movie I really go back to. And I know there's like Farewell to the Flesh, I think was the second one. I don't really remember that one too much. I don't know if they did any more, to be honest. So yeah, yeah, you guys might not like this, but I'm putting it in D tier. I'm putting it with Resident Evil. Just I'm not too big of a fan. Camp Blood. This is like a total B movie. I don't think I've seen them all, to be honest. I remember thinking the first one was alright. It's campy. No pun intended. It's just not one I really think about. We got a lot of movies to get through. I don't really have a ton to say on this one. I think Candyman and Resident Evil are better, so I think this is going to be our first E tier. Oh, now we got The Howling. Hoo-wee. The first one, awesome, awesome werewolf movie. Probably one of my favorite werewolf movies of all time. The second one's really good. I can't remember even how many there are, to be honest. I kind of enjoyed all the ones I've seen. I think there's like 4 or 5 Howling movies. I think there's one like your sister's a werewolf or something like that. It gets pretty campy, and the first one, is more of a serious movie. It's really good, but after that they kind of get a little campy. But I enjoy them. I think they're fun. I think they're great werewolf movies. They got really good special effects and everything. So, I think with the Howling series, but it ain't one I go back to a lot. So I think it's gonna be up there with The Fly. We're gonna go C tier for now. The Human Centipede. Oh, I remember seeing this when it first came out, and I thought the first one was solid, gross, disgusting, but like for the time, it was something different, and it was okay. It was, not like one I'd really go back and rewatch. The second one I thought was just downright nasty, man. Like I just didn't really enjoy it, to be honest. I don't know if they did I think they did like a third one maybe, but I know like the first two probably stand out the most. Not really a big fan of these, to be honest. It's not really something, I'd really go back to watch. I think this is going with Camp Blood. It's going E tier. Not a big fan. Attack of the Killer Tomatoes. So we got Attack of the Killer Tomatoes. We got Return of the Killer Tomatoes. Oh, this is kind of embarrassing, but I've never seen these movies. I think I've seen like part of the first one, or the one that George Clooney's in. I don't know if that's the first or second one. But it's really cheesy. I don't know. I mean, Killer Tomatoes. I mean, I don't know. Later down the line, you guys will probably be like, oh, you'll rate this higher, and it's like silly. But it's just my personal preference. I didn't grow up on this one movie. I didn't grow up watching it. Like, I remember just seeing part of one of them on TV, and not a huge fan. So honestly, I'm going to put it in don't know, don't remember. I don't want to give like too of an unfair grade to it, because it might be one I'll go back and check out, for real. Oh, next we got the Boogeyman. I think there was like two of them in the early 80s, if I remember, and then we got the remake. This is one I'm not a big fan of. I've seen them all. Uh, Pretty forgettable in my opinion. I don't really remember a lot of them. I don't, really remember what's going on. I just remember them being kind of meh. Probably should have put a meh category here. We're gonna put this in E tier. I feel bad doing that, but it is what it is. Friday the 13th. Oh, we got a banger here. Friday the 13th. Part 1, awesome. Part 2, awesome. Part 3, gonna reiterate it, awesome. Part 4, one of my favorite horror movies of all time. It's probably going in the top 10. Part 4 is just, oh man, just amazing. I don't want to use awesome again, but Corey Feldman. I mean, the cast of characters in Part 4 to me is just amazing. Like, I don't know, man. It doesn't take place at the campground, which is kind of weird, but it kind of doesn't need to. I mean, the characters just take this movie over. I've watched this movie so many times. But Part 5 I like. I thought it was a solid follow-up. Part 6 good. Part 7, I remember like not really. Wait, is it Part 6 or 7? The one with the telepathic powers. But I liked pretty much all of them up until we get to Manhattan. Jason Takes Manhattan. That one, meh. That one's a fail for me. But overall, I mean, even if you don't get into the Jason movies, like Jason X, it's terrible, but man, it's just kind of fun to watch. So Friday the 13th, as a series, is S tier. Just because there's so many good ones, and you can watch them back to back to back. I mean, if it's Friday the 13th, throw these on and have fun. Lake Placid, I remember the first one. I don't remember any after that. So, I guess I'm going to put I don't know, I don't remember, because I didn't even know that there was any more. So, I don't want to, judge it unfairly. Next up, we got Open Water. I thought the first one was solid. The second one I didn't care for at all. But the first one was original. It was different. It's not one I really go back to. It's got relationship stuff with people stuck in the water being surrounded by a shark. So it's kind of one of those movies to me. Once you've seen it once, you're kind of good. I'm putting this in E tier, to be honest. I'll probably never go back and watch it again. Scanners, the first one. You got the head exploding scene. It's awesome. Don't really remember too much of the sequels. I know I've seen them, and I think they're pretty solid. I'm not going to spend too much time on this one, but we're going to go D tier. It's not E tier, but it ain't one that, if a lot of these movies, if we were just basing them off, the first movie, a lot of these would be higher. Like Candyman would be higher, Scanners would be higher, Human Centipede would probably, go from an E to a D, Open Water, the same. But, this is as a series. Evil Dead, we got Evil Dead 2, we got Army of Darkness, the big three. That's kind of what I'm counting. I'm not going to count that remake. That remake, to me, is terrible. Kind of a shame. But the original trilogy is epic. I remember going and seeing Army of Darkness in Grand Rapids, and they shot out Grand Rapids in the movie. It was pretty awesome. The place went crazy. It was kind of a good feeling. Evil Dead, I love, man. I mean, it's a classic series. It is going S tier. We might have quite a bit of S tiers, I ain't gonna lie. Terror Tunes. This is another cheesy B movie from the 90s. I don't think it was the 80s. I think it was the 90s if I remember. It's I've seen all these. I think you can check them out on Tubi if I remember. One of those cheap sites have them all. Terror Tunes is a goofy. It's kind of when I grew up. Used to be on Up All Night if you're a fan back in the day, or Showtime late at night. It's got some raunchy stuff, but it's basically Roger Rabbit, because it's got the mix of a cartoon character and real people, but just really raunchy and killing people. The first one I watched it a lot. After that, I wouldn't really watch the other ones that much. I mean, I probably would if they were on, but I think we're gonna go C tier. Or no, we're gonna go D tier. Yeah, I can't go that high on terror tunes. Scary movie. Now, to me, these aren't horror movies. These are comedies. But since we're here, I kind of enjoyed most all of them, especially the first two. The first two I thought were amazing. The third one, I don't know how many they did, like four. They to me they kind of get worse and worse as they go, but they're still all kind of enjoyable. So we'll judge it, we'll rank it, but I think it's gonna go C tier. It's middle of the road. I enjoy them; they're fun. It's kind of a good companion piece to horror movies, if you're watching them all. Wishmaster, the first one's a classic. Second one's not too bad. Can't remember if they did a third one or not. Sorry, I'm not up to date. I mean, there's a lot of horror movies. I can't remember everything, but I remember the first one I liking a lot. The second one I thought was solid, but it's not like great. Like I said, if we are basing off just the first movie, it'd be higher, but I think we're going D tier with Wishmaster. The Lost Boys, this is another one. If we're going based on the first movie, it's S tier. But then they had to do a sequel, and it was terrible. So we only got two to choose from. So if we're talking series, I'm going to put it middle of the road just based on the first one. Otherwise, that second one would be F tier. Ginger Snaps. I think we had Ginger Snaps back. Oh, it was solid. I remember it was like a big movie for the time. I mean, not like, big in budget or like stuff like that, but it kind of got like a cult following. It was a really solid movie. But not like something I really go back to. I think it's going to be another one. I'm honestly going to put that next to Wishmaster. We're going D tier. Feast. Love the first one. Love the second one. I'll probably be saying that a lot with the first and two movies of the series for a lot of these. But I enjoy them all. I mean, they get campier and campier as they go. They get gorier and gorier as they go. Like later in the series, you got Mexican wrestlers or Mexican mini wrestlers. It's just crazy off the wall. Shut your brain off and have fun movie to watch. I think this is going to go middle of the road. We're going to go C tier with the Feast franchise. I Spit on Your Grave. Not a fun movie to watch, If you enjoy watching these movies, there might be something wrong with you. But, I mean, the first one kind of is a cult classic. The second one I thought was terrible. And I think they did several more after that based on, like, the remakes. Yeah, it's hard to judge. I don't really like these movies. I don't like to go back and watch them. I'm honest. I'm putting these in E tier. I'm not gonna give it F because based on the first one, but yeah, we're going E tier. We haven't had any F tiers yet. Some are close, but not yet. Phantasm, another awesome. I see like 3 series in a row that are awesome, but we're gonna go with Phantasm here. The Phantasm series is great. I've seen all these movies. The first, second, and third are awesome. Just great. I need to quit saying awesome. Sorry, guys, but it's horror movies. I love horror movies, so it just kind of makes me excited. The first 3 tremendous movies. The fourth one, I thought it was a little too late to bring out, but still not bad. They all are solid movies. The first one is just a classic, though, but it's a really good series. The Phantasm, we're going A tier with Phantasm. All right, we got the Nightmare on Elm Street. Just like Friday the 13th, classics. First one, amazing. Second one, oddly good, really bizarre. A lot of weird things going on, but I still enjoy it. The third one is my favorite of the series, The Dream Warriors. Kind of like Friday the 13th 4, the cast of characters are just amazing. And, like, the setting, with all the kids in the mental institution, like, grouping together to take on Freddy. And they all got their powers of what they're in there for. It's just, it's great. 4 and 5 get a lot of kind of crap, but I love them. Then we got, let's see here, we got Freddy's Dead, which I know gets a bad rap too, but I kind of enjoy it. The remake, not so much. I'm not even gonna count that. I'm not gonna have it ruin this uh thing here. So we are going S tier with Nightmare on Elm Street. We are putting that right next to Friday the 13th. Actually, we're gonna do this here real quick. Yeah. That's the S tier ranking so far. We're putting Phantasm. I think it's going alright. I really want to put that A tier, but I'm not gonna. Alien. This is another you could go sci-fi or horror. If we're just going on Alien movies and not Alien versus Predator movies, because I'm gonna count those as separate. We're just gonna do how many we got? The first 4 Aliens. The first 2 are amazing for different reasons. The first one is just this claustrophobic, just horror movie. I mean, it's creepy, it's scary. Then we get the second one, which goes in a totally different direction. We got action. It's action. They're after the aliens. Love them. Love those 2 movies to death. I would say Alien might be one of my favorite sci-fi movies of all time. We get Alien 3, kind of gets crapped on. I don't think it's great, but it ain't bad. Kind of the same with 4. I don't think it's great, but it ain't bad. It kind of gets more into both those movies and more in the action category. But what 3 and 4 were missing for me was just the cast of characters. I mean, we got Ripley, but and then we got like some of the newer ones that come out, like Covenant and all those, which I enjoyed every one of them. Some of the newer ones are really great too. This is a classic series. It is going S tier. And it is going right behind Nightmare on Elm Street. Beware the Blob franchise. We got the Blob remake. Both are awesome movies. I don't know if they did any more off the top of my head, but love the Blob series. Love those movies, especially the old black and white one, man. It's got a killer tune at the beginning. Yeah, these are great movies. I mean, we only got 2 to base off of, but we're going to go A tier. I'm going to put that just based on some of the extra movies I don't care for. We're going to put it there. We got the Omen series. Now, this might be a little controversial, but I don't like the Omen movies. I don't like any of them. I had the box set. I sold it just because, I watched them once, and I'm like, I'll never really watch these again. I don't care for them. I don't care for the remake. I know it might be an unpopular opinion, but honestly, Omen's going E tier. Critters. This is another one I love. Critters 2. You could do these back to back because they take place back to back. You could even incorporate the third one, which a lot of people don't like, but I like the third one a lot. You got a young, I think it's the third one, with Leonardo DiCaprio as a little kid. It might be his first movie that he did, where the critters are eating beans and farting and stuff. But and then I think they did a fourth one. Critters is an awesome series. It's just fun. Turn your brain off on. The second one, you can make an Easter. You can watch it on Easter, horror Easter movie, because it takes place during that time period. Critters, really fun. We're going to put it in B tier. It's going to go in front of Silent Night. The Hitcher. Now, I knew of the Hitcher remake, and I think there's a Hitcher 2. First one's really good. The other ones I didn't really care for. Don't really have a lot to say on them, so we're going to go D tier. Cloverfield. This might be another unpopular opinion. I hate these movies. The characters in them are so annoying, especially the first one. I felt no sympathy for these people. I mean, I was just kind of rooting for them to die. Go ahead, just kill these characters off. This is going to be the first F tier, to be honest. Cloverfield. And I don't even consider them a horror movie. That's way more sci-fi to me. So it shouldn't even be in this list. Children of the Corn. First one's a classic. Children of the Corn 2. Don't remember a lot of. But I think it's the third one I remember more of and kind of enjoyed. These are okay. They're not really movies I go back to. I had seen Children of the Corn when I was a little kid. My grandparents lived next door to a cornfield, so this movie scared the shit out of me. I was terrified of cornfields, which I don't know why, because it's not like they killed kids, they killed the adults. So I mean, I would have been straight. But yeah, like it was just a movie I was terrified of, man. Stephen King, man, he terrified me as a kid. Like I watched horror movies, real young. I mean, we can go back to Friday the 13th. I remember seeing like part 3 maybe in the theater. I was like such a little kid. Like I barely even remember it. I don't even know why I should have even seen that movie, but yeah, Children of the Corn, it's okay, but not great. Where honestly, I'm going D tier because there's so many of them and so many are not good. Creep Show. Now this is kind of weird. First two Creep Shows amazing. A lot of people love the first one. I think it's the best. I love the second one, man. The second one is killer to me with the hitchhiker. It's one of my favorite ones. Then you got the raft where there's the blob in the water, man. That's just awesome. Then they release these low budget straight to, you might as well just say straight to Tubi movies that are just terrible, horrendous. Like it's embarrassing that it's even part of the franchise. If we were basing these off the first two, it'd be S tier, no doubt about it. But because of the other ones, kind of ruins it. We're going C tier, mid road. Mid road because watch the first two, skip the rest. I Know What You Did Last Summer. This had what, 2 of them? It's good. It's actually one I've been thinking about going back to rewatch because I haven't watched them since probably early 2000s. It was probably the last time or whenever they came out. Maybe it was 90s. I think it was 90s. I think I was still in high school at the time. It was like Scream. It's solid. Nothing great. I think we're going to go D tier with it. Just because there ain't many to choose from, and outside of the first one, The Brotherhood, I believe it's a werewolf movie. I don't know. I've never seen it. So I'm putting it here. ABC's of Death. Love the first one. Second one's great. The first one's really good, though, but there's some nasty stuff in these movies, but it's kind of cool that, they're only a couple minutes each, or I think some of them, probably like most, like 10 minutes? They're kind of like 5 to 10 minute shorts going through the entire alphabet. They're really cool. So, if you're not really into one, you can just skip to the next letter and, it ain't no big deal. It's a really cool anthology. We're unique. I'm going to put this B tier. Hostel. I remember really enjoying the first one when it came out. The second one, didn't really care for it all. I think they did maybe a couple more. I'm pretty sure they did a third one. But as I got older, these movies are very cringy and very, I don't think, too good. So, I want to go E tier. I'll go D tier to be nice. I'll be nice to Eli Roth. Blade, these are Marvel movies. I would not put these in a horror movie. But, I guess it's a vampire, so. The first one, I remember when it came out, it was solid. And the rest of them, I thought, kind of the same. They're way more actiony and stuff. Like, I don't even want to rank these. Just because they are not horror movies. But I'm going to go E tier. I just don't really care for them. They're not really my cup of tea. Shake, Rattle, Roll. Never. I used to review horror movies and I've never heard of this in my life. I'm going to have to look it up because I have no clue what this is. Night of the Demons. All-time favorite. This is the first one, top 10 horror movies of all time. It's so fun. It's just like, I don't really know what to say. All I'll say is watch it. Oh man, pop-ups. Get out of here. All I'll say is watch it. It's just classic fun. The second one, a lot of people don't like. I still enjoy it. But the first one is amazing. The second one's really good, though. And I think they did a third one that's trash, if I remember. But yeah, these are great. But based on the third one, if we were doing the first two, it'd probably be a little higher. I want to go higher than B, but yeah, we're going B tier. I'm putting it above The Exorcist. The Amityville Horror. There's a lot of Amityville Horror movies. I think there's over 20 some of them. I have not seen them all. Not even close, because after like the first, let's say 4 or 5 of them, it's just worse and worse and worse and worse and worse. But so, I'm just going to base it off of kind of the originals before they started making like Amityville Gacy House or whatever they're doing today. I mean, you can go on like Tubi and some of these like free streaming sites, to see like, because like anyone can put Amityville in the movie title. It's not like copyrighted. So anyone can go. I mean, you guys, you can go out and make an Amityville movie and you can put it up, and there's just way too many. I kind of want to put. But anyways, going back to it, not a fan. I mean, not really a fan of these movies. I love haunted house movies. I love like haunted stuff, but I would honestly say the remake is what I would go back and I'd probably watch that more than any of them. But even then, I don't really care for it. I don't know why I watched it more than once. This is going E tier. It's going to go Omen tier. I'd probably put these two together. Cabin Fever. Loved the first one when it came out. Another, this is with Hostel, another Eli Roth movie. It was cool when it came out, but I was younger when it came out. It's one of those movies like Hostel. As I got older, don't really care to watch them anymore. Hostel 2, Cabin Fever 2, kind of a mess. I think they had to like go through like 2 different directors, so it's kind of like a cluster F of things. Where did I put Hostel? D tier. We're getting a lot of D tier, but it's going a little bit above Hostel just because the first Cabin Fever, I might go back and watch again. Evil Bong. There's a ton of Evil Bong movies. I have not seen them all, I don't think. I've seen at least like 6 of them, which is kind of embarrassing. And I've seen like the first one probably like 5 or 6 times, which why? Probably I was high like usual. I am a 420 dude, so I would say like if you're gonna watch these Evil Bong movies, you might want to blaze one up to watch these. They're fun, harmless, goofy B movies. This is one you're gonna be like, what in the hell? But I'm putting them C tier. I just kind of enjoy these movies. Anaconda, do not count this as a horror movie. I didn't know that there was more than one. The first one I didn't care for at all. I don't need to see Ice Cube chasing down an anaconda. I'm straight, bro. We're gonna go E tier with this one. Yeah, man. So let's see here. We've only had one F tier with Cloverfield. But yeah, how many more do we got to go? We got quite a bit. Final Destination. These are fun movies. I've seen all of them. The first 2 stand out to me as the best. Part 2. Oh, let me take that back. I would say the first 3 I like a lot. I think they're really well made. And even the ones after that are, they're solid, but it just kind of runs its course, You know what's coming, But it's a movie you can just throw on, kind of have some fun too. It's nothing too offensive. It's middle of the road, which is why it's going C tier. Fright Night. Fright Night 1 is amazing. One of my favorite vampire movies of all time. Part 2, even more amazing. I take that back. Fright Night 2 is one of my favorite vampire movies of all time, but both these are, to be honest. And I hate to say it, but even the remake is solid with Colin Farrell. It was really well done. I was like shocked because I'm not really a big fan of remakes, especially like remakes that have came out like in the 2000s and beyond. There's like The Blob and like The Thing where they did remakes, but they're classics. But yeah, all these are solid, really solid, fun movies. I didn't expect to do this, but we're going B tier with Fright Night. From Dusk Till Dawn. The first one I remember liking. But over time, not really anymore. Not a big Tarantino fan, obvious reasons. And then after that, they just go downhill. They're embarrassing. Especially the second one I remember from Dusk Till Dawn 2 was just like, oh my god. This is another series. I don't think we can go F tier with it because the first one, it's solid. I ain't gonna lie. We're gonna go E tier. E tier and D tier are piling up. Ghoulies. Ghoulies. This is a classic from the 80s. These are ones I enjoy a lot. My favorite of the Ghoulies is part 3 where the Ghoulies go to college, man. It's hilarious. You got the Ghoulies going on panty raids, man. I mean, how can you beat that, Blaze one up, kick back a beer or something, man. This is just like that type of movie from the 80s you can just enjoy. They're all pretty solid. I think like Ghoulies 4 is a little out there, but it's not offensive. I'm going C tier with Ghoulies. Oh, we got a big hitter right here. We got the Halloween. I'm not counting, for fairness, I'm not counting those Rob Zombie movies. Those are trash, and those just do a disservice to the Halloween franchise. So I'm gonna make an adjustment. I'm not counting the Rob Zombie movies because I don't want to do Halloween disjustice. First one, classic, one of the best horror movies of all time. Second one follows the first one. It's a great double feature to put together. Halloween 3 does not have Michael Myers, but it is a kick-ass Halloween movie nonetheless. Then they're like, you know what? Let's do Halloween 4 and 5, my 2 favorite Halloween movies of the entire franchise. Then we got 6, which it's a little iffy, but I really enjoy it. If you guys out there can see the director's cut or producer's cut or whatever it was that it lingers out there, it's really cool to see. Oh, then we got H2O. That's one I need to go back and watch again. It's not one of my favorites, but, it's okay. But then we got the one with Busta Rhymes. Resurrection, I believe it is. Oh, boy. I kind of don't wish I didn't have to count that one. But these are great movies, man. I'm not gonna harsh too much on it. Oh, I forgot. Then we got the 2 that they brought out recently, or 2 or 3 that are just, I know a lot of people like them. I think they're terrible. You know what? The Halloween's hit and miss. It really kind of deserves to go in C tier, but based on those first 6, it's B tier. Is it A tier or B tier? I don't love these as much as I do the Nightmare. I know I'm sure they're Friday the 13th. God, well, we're going A tier. Why not, man? I'm not going to let some of these movies ruin it for me. Tremors is a classic movie. I don't know how many Tremors movies they made. I don't think I've seen them all, but I've seen, like, the first 3 at least. All enjoyable. Even had a TV series on, I think it was on Sci-Fi. It was fun. Really kind of enjoyable. So, Tremors is, I would say, mid-road. I think we're going to go C tier. Hellraiser. Love Hellraiser. Hellraiser, I think, is great. Hellraiser 2 was good. Hellraiser 3, I didn't care for. Hellraiser 4, I think, was a Bloodline, where it's got, like, a thing where they go to, like, the future and the past. A lot of people shit on this movie, but I enjoy it. But then they just started pumping out these just straight-to-video Hellraisers that were just awful. Then you had the remake. Ugh, barf. So it's really hit and miss. This is another one I think is going to have to go C tier because there's so many bad ones that... And a lot of people think, like, 3 and 4 are terrible. A lot of people just kind of like the first 2. I'm not basing it off of that, but even my own opinion, I think it's C tier quality. Hills Have Eyes. Hills Have Eyes 1, crazy movie. It's like, man, that movie is messed up. Hills Have Eyes 2 kind of equally as messed up. They kind of go together really good. I don't think they did any more after that, but then they did the remake, the Hills Have Eyes remake. Alexander Aja, I believe, did it, which was solid. Another like remake that I was like really surprised, but that's based on the director. I mean, he's coming off a lot of like really good French films. So Hills Have Eyes, interesting. I hate to do it. I'm going C tier. We're gonna get a lot of C tier. Yeah, C tier's taking over. No, not a lot of Fs. Kind of go through the list and see where we got things ranking so far. We got some more to go, quite a few more to go. We got the Child's Play series. Oh, this might be an unpopular opinion. I got a buddy that loves Chucky, loves the Child's Play series. I don't really care for him. I didn't really care for the first one, second one, third one. To me, they got worse and worse as they go. Like, I understand the first one. It was the most serious of them all, I guess. But it's like, dude, it's a doll. And it's meant to be serious. Like, just throw that thing in the fire. I mean, he's what, about as strong as like a wiener dog? I mean, come on. But the one I will say I really enjoy is Bride of Chucky. Like, Bride of Chucky I like a lot. Just because it was more campy. It was just more fun. It kind of got away with that seriousness and just accepted what it was. But then after that, oh boy. The next one that comes up, I ain't even going to talk about because it is just trash. Then they kind of brought out a couple more that were okay. It's oddly enough, it's kind of like a series. I like some of the later stuff more. Then it has a TV show out, which I have not watched. But these are the movies, so I'm not really going to count like the TV shows in the rankings. Child's Play to me, I mean, there's only one I really enjoy. You probably ain't going to like this, but Child's Play is going D tier. Insidious. This is a franchise I like. I thought like each one's pretty solid. The first two I think are the best. The first one is a classic in my opinion. Like for modern day horror movies, I think it's a classic. Insidious is solid, man, for newer movies. Well, I guess it ain't new at this point, but Insidious is going B tier. We ain't got a lot of at the very top. We got 5 S, A, and B. Jaws. There's a ton of these movies. Not really gonna go too in depth in them. I mean, if you've seen one, you've probably seen them all. They just kind of keep getting campier and campier. The first one's a classic though, but the others are just kind of dog water. So honestly, remember this is based on the series. I'm going D tier. I love the original though. I mean, don't get me wrong. If it was the original, would be A tier. Just the original movie alone. Jeepers Creepers. Don't even want to talk about this movie based on the director. If you want to know what I'm talking about, look him up. He is a POS. F tier. Joyride. I think they made a ton of these. Or no, it's Wrong Turn coming up. Yeah, there's a ton of these, but I don't know how many Joyrides are out there. I've only seen the first one, I believe, and it was solid. Don't really have like a ton to say on it. I'm also going to put that D tier. It's not really when I go back and watch. The Ju-On series. Are we counting The Grudge? Or is The Grudge in here? Unless I missed it, I don't see The Grudge. So, alright, we're going to count Ju-On and The Grudge all together. Just like The Ring, like Ju-On, the Ju-On series is really solid. The first Grudge, the remake of Ju-On, The Grudge with Sarah Michelle Gellar, I love that movie. I think it's tremendous. But then after that, it's kind of downhill. Like, I would kind of say, like, to me, this is mid. This is going to be another C tier movie. Or franchise. Then we got Wrong Turn. Great googly moogly. There's a lot of these movies. Don't really care for anyone, to be honest. Like, instead of watching Wrong Turn, I'd just rather watch the Hills Have Eyes remake because it's very similar but better done, in my opinion. The Wrong Turn's going E tier. Reanimator, you got the Reanimator, Bride of Reanimator. I think they brought out another one. These are great movies, you know. Stuart Gordon, you know, based on some Lovecraft stuff. I mean, it's an 80s classic for sure. And the Bride of Reanimator is awesome. Those two just go great together. Going C tier. Trying to move up, get going a little quicker. Creature from the Black Lagoon. You've got some oldies here. Love Creature from the Black Lagoon. If you don't know what this is, go watch it. They're all pretty solid. I'm going B tier with Creature series. All right, we got The Ring. So the Ringy series, is Ringy on here? I'm imagining that they just put these together all together. I would think they just put these all together. So yeah, the Ringy series, solid, really good movies. The remake, The Ring, amazing. I remember when it came out, it was one of my favorite horror movies for quite a bit of time. I watched that movie so many times. But then The Ring 2 came out, and that is dog water. What a disappointment going from that remake to that one. I would basically probably say it's based on the director. I mean, the director for the Ring remake, Gore Verbinski. I mean, he's an amazing director, so it was kind of hard to fail. So overall, I would say the Ring series, Ring You, we're gonna go C tier. The Return of the Living Dead. If y'all don't know, Return of the Living Dead is my favorite horror movie of all time. It is my favorite movie of all time, period. It's what got me into writing horror reviews. It's what got me into being a horror movie fan. I've probably seen this movie more than any other movie in my life. I could, you know, if they were going to do a remake and needed extras, I'll jump in because I know the lines. Then we got Return of the Living Dead 2, which is not equally as awesome, but it's very close up there. And it's really funny because the first two you could kind of go, you know, you could put together because it's got a lot, you know, two of the main people in Return of the Living Dead are in Return of the Living Dead 2, and it has like this thing where they're like, man, it feels like we've been here before. It's just, you know, it knows what it's doing. Return of the Living Dead 3, a lot of people really like. It takes more of a serious direction. I didn't really care for it as much, but it's still a solid movie. Then you got 4 and 5, which are weird. They came out way later and were really low budget. I think they're foreign films. I mean, they're in English, but they're just weird. I don't know, like, I kind of feel like they were made to be other movies, and they were like, you know what, we got the rights to Return of the Living Dead. Let's just throw Return of the Living Dead on these movies, because they just don't really fit. But they're not terrible. They're still okay. So none of these movies are actually bad, but the first two are awesome. And I'm going A tier with this series. It's not getting S tier. If we were based on the first three, it might, but Cold Prey. I don't know what this is. That's another one I don't know. Basket Case. Very weird series. Very weird. I think, was it Frank Henlocker did these? It's got that gritty New York kind of scene to it. It's disgusting. I don't really care for these. I mean, I get it, but they're not my cup of tea, you know, to be honest. I'm going E tier. The Ginger Dead Man. I don't know how many of these are. I've seen them all. Especially like you got Gary Busey playing the Ginger Dead Man. I mean, it's one of these movies, you know, I'll bring it up, you know, I see Killjoy over here too, and like some of these Full Moon Picture movies. It's going to be like with Terror Tunes where it's very cheesy, or what's the other one? Evil Bong. You know, you're going to see with some of these like Full Moon Picture movies. But I love these movies. I love being able to just turn off my brain and have fun. And that's what this series does. You know, it's not as good as Terror Tunes, but I would probably put it in that range. So we're going to go D tier. You know, it's not Evil Bong good, but it's okay. Carrie. So I know we got Carrie. We got the Carrie remake. Was there any more? Did they remake it for the third time? I don't like these movies. I like the Carrie remake better than I did the original. But for some reason, the first one just really bothers me. It's just messed up, and the mother in it just, oh man, I don't know. It's just one of those movies. I know it's weird, but I just don't really like them. Like, they're not terrible, so don't get me wrong when I put this in F tier. I just personally don't like these movies. Pumpkinhead. I don't know how many of these are. I know I've seen them all. The ones I remember really well are the first two. The first one's awesome, great creature effects. But it's not one I go back to. I don't think it's bad though. I didn't like Carrie or nothing, but I think it's gonna be D tier. Ouija. Blah. Don't have a lot to say. F tier. Mega Shark. I didn't know this was a series. I have not seen these. Bunnyman. Have not seen these. Killjoy. These are full moon picture movies, but I have not seen these. I know of them, and I may have seen one of them, but I'm just gonna put in I don't know because I don't really remember. I just remember. I know I did. I do remember now. I do remember the first two, but I don't remember them that much. So I'm not gonna be like mean and put it in F tier. I'm just gonna put it in I don't remember just because it's not one I'm greatly familiar with. Maniac Cop. I've seen these movies, but don't remember a lot about them. I know there's another one. I think it's Psycho Cop series, which is I think the one I like more. I'll be fair and put like next to Oh, we got Basket Case and E tier. Yeah, I guess that's where it's going. E tier is filling. D and E is filling up. How many more do we got? We got quite a bit more. All right, let's get moving. We got the Prom Night series. Not a big fan. Don't really have a lot to say. The remake was meh. Going F tier with Prom Night, man. Night of the Living Dead, so I'm taking it with that. We're going to count the whole series. So we got Night of the Living Dead. We got Dawn of the Dead. We got Day of the Dead. What else? We got Diary of the Dead. Survival of the Dead. I mean, I might be missing one or two, but I think the main ones are Night of the Living Dead, Dawn of the Dead, Day of the Dead. That trilogy, some of the best, like, more serious zombie movies ever made. Even the Night of the Living Dead remake is superb. I honestly prefer the Night of the Living Dead remake to the original remake. I think Night of the Living Dead remake is one of the best remakes of all time. It's kind of like up there with The Ring. But they're all solid in their own way. They do get kind of worse as they go, but the first three, there's no drop-offs. They're amazing. Do I want to go S tier with this series? Do I want to go S tier? I don't think I can, just based on some of them later ones. We're going A tier for now. One Missed Call. I have seen the first one. I didn't know it was a series. I thought it was terrible. Gonna go F tier. Paranormal Activity. I like most of these movies. I like the first one a lot. The second one I like a lot. Like, kind of equally, those two. Third one's solid. Then we kind of get into like the fourth one, which I thought was bleh. Then they kind of go in some different directions, and we got like the marked ones, which I thought brought it back. You know, it was something different. It was something fresh. I did rewatch it again recently, actually, and it didn't kind of hold up like I liked it, but overall, it's a good series. I ain't gonna dog on it too much. I don't think it's the greatest in the world, but I think we are gonna put it in C tier. All right, now we got the Slumber Party Massacre. Do we got Sorority House Massacre on here? Or should we count those all together? Oh, I don't see Sorority House. I'm kind of surprised they got Slumber House and not Sorority House. Wow. Okay. I'm going to count them all. And I love them all. Especially Slumber Party Massacre 2, one of my favorites. I used to watch this all the time when I was a kid. It used to come on like Up All Night and stuff like that, if you guys remember, and be on like Cinemax. It's one of them Cinemax movies. I mean, look at the title, Slumber Party Massacre. You know what you're getting. You're getting blood and boobs. I mean, what more could you want? I mean, I guess if you don't like that, you want something different, but it's good. I love these movies. There ain't a lot of substance to them, but this might be like a shocker. You guys would probably be like, whoa, dude, you're taking this way too high. It's going B tier. I almost would give it A tier. You know what? I ain't going to lie. I'm giving it A tier. I don't care what anyone thinks. It's A tier material. Poltergeist. First one, amazing. Great movie. Second and third one, they're okay. Like, nothing offensive. The remake I thought was awful. But they're good movies. The first one would get a higher ranking, but once again, I think we're going to go C tier. Cube. I've only seen the first one. I wouldn't even consider it a horror movie, to be honest. I didn't know that there was more. I'm going to put it in, I don't know, just to be fair. Subspecies is another full moon vampire movies. These are great. Cheesy. I don't really have like a ton to say to them. I haven't watched them in a long time, but I remember enjoying them for what they were. I'm going to put them in D tier. The Purge. Did not like these movies at all. Thought they were lame. I thought they got lamer as they went. It's F tier for The Purge. Psycho. The first one's a classic. The remake is a pile of dog shit. And the ones in between, they're okay. There's ups and downs. I can't remember which one it is. The one where, I think it's one where Norman Bates is calling in and kind of like telling his story. I thought was really solid. I think it was like 3 or 4 maybe. But nothing like great to me. I think it's gonna go in D tier. I think D tier is filling up. Puppet Master. Holy camole. There's a lot of Puppet Master movies. And I mean a lot of them. I have not seen them all. I've seen quite a few of them. I've probably seen at least like 6 or 7 of them. But I think these go like in the teens. I mean, I think there's like 15, 16 of these movies at this point. Don't really care for them. They're just kind of boring to me. I mean, it seems like a really cool premise and something that I would like, but they just don't really resonate with me. I'm going to go E tier with Puppet Master. There's too many, and too many that are awful. The Rex series, this is an amazing series. Kind of another take on the virus, zombie movie stuff. You got Wreck, and then you got the American versions, which either one you watch are good. The remake is really solid. Got the girl from Dexter in it. Can't think of her name off the top of my head, but yeah, these are awesome movies, especially the first one. But the ones that follow, like they kind of get crazier, especially like Rec 3 is just off the walls bonkers, but it's off the walls bonkers in a great way. This is over a really good series. Where are we going with it, bro? I think we're going to go B tier with Rec. Saw, the Saw franchise. There's a ton of these. I have not seen them all. I've seen a lot of them. I think I've seen the one until, who was it like? Wasn't it like Chris Rock in one of them or something like that? But I remember when the first one came out, I thought it was good. Then in my opinion, they just all kept going downhill and downhill. And it's like, yeah, I've seen it. Don't care. It's an F series to me. It's with The Purge. I just don't care for it. The Scream franchise. I don't know how many of these are. I've seen them all except for the last one that they came out with. I don't care for it as much as I Know What You Did Last Summer. So where did I put that? That's D tier. So yeah, Scream, I know a lot of people like it, but it's E tier for me. Sharknado. I've only seen the first one. I may have seen part of the second one. Don't care. I know like a lot of people, this was like hugely popular for being a bad movie, but to me it was like, it was a bad movie for all the wrong reasons. Like, it was trying to be a bad movie. and I don't really like enjoy it. Like I enjoy more like a bad movie when it's trying to be good, but it just comes off so corny and bad. Where this was just like they knew what they were doing. It's an F. Silence of the Lambs. I know this is a hugely popular movie, probably a hugely popular series. You know, you got Manhunter, Silence of the Lambs, you got Hannibal. There's probably a couple others in there. Manhunter's my favorite of the bunch. And then Hannibal, and I don't really care for Silence of the Lambs. But yeah, it's not a series I watch a lot. It's not F tier, but honestly, I'm going E tier with this series. Or should I go? Yeah, it's going E tier. You know what? I kind of feel bad putting Scream in E tier. I think I'm going to put it in D tier. It's a little better than that. Sleepaway Camp. Sleepaway Camp 1, 2, and 3 are amazing. I love these movies. Yeah, I love this, love that. But these are classics. If you haven't seen them, go out of your way to watch them. Sleepaway Camp series is going up to B tier. We got the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. This is a very divisive series. You got the original, one of the scariest movies of all time. You got the second one, hilariously good. Not in a bad way. It's a great movie, but it has a lot of comedy to it. The third one, I love the third one. Yeah, another movie I love, but then you get to the fourth one that's kind of where I think people, I mean, the third one was, I don't know if it was in theaters or not. If it was probably a very short run because it wasn't as big as like the first two, but the fourth one's with Matthew McConaughey, and it is off the walls bad. And I don't think it was meant to be bad. This is where I'm going to give you an example of so bad it's good. Like, this movie is crazy, but I like it. So we got up to 4 I enjoy. Then we get into the remakes. I did not like any of them. I thought they were all dog water. I thought they were trash. So this is one where I think the good outshines the bad, though. But I think it's still going C tier because there's so many of the newer ones that are just bad. The Blair Witch. You got the Blair Witch. You got the Blair Witch 2. I really enjoy the first Blair Witch. I've actually watched it recently again, and it was really good. The Blair Witch 2, I enjoy a ton. I went and seen it in theater on Halloween when it came out that year. Everyone hates it, but I don't really know why. I thought it was a great way to capitalize off the first movie without doing the same thing. Then, if I remember, we get into the Blair Witch, like, not remake, but you could almost basically call it one, which I thought was okay. It wasn't that offensive, but it also wasn't that great. But overall, not too bad. I mean, not too bad at all of a little series. I think we're going to go C tier. Or do we want to go B tier? There ain't that many, so I think we're going B tier for right now. All right, we got the Predator series. These are not horror movies. But I do enjoy the first one. I enjoy the second one. I'm not going to count the Alien versus Predator movies. You know, I'm not even going to count this because this is too unfair. This is a sci-fi action movie. There really ain't no horror to it other than killing, but yeah, I'm not counting it. The Woman in Black, not really sure what this is. Unless it's the one that's got the dude from Harry Potter in it. But I didn't know it was a series, if that's the same one we're talking about, so I'm putting that, I don't know. Troll. We got Troll and Troll 2. I think there's a few others after that, but we're just going to go off Troll and Troll 2. Troll is not that great. It's kind of boring, but it's got Julie Louis-Dreyfus in it early on. Then we get to Troll 2, the best bad movie of all time. I mean, hands down. It's a classic. So based off of kind of those two, and based off of how good the second one is, We are going B tier with Troll. Urban Legend. I don't know how many of these there are. I don't even know what this is, so what's going on, I don't know. Underworld's not a horror movie. I'm not even going to review that. I'm just saying. Urban Legend. I remember the first one very well. And I really enjoyed it, but I didn't know that there was more. So I kind of feel bad ranking it because I don't really know the other ones what. So I'm going to put it in I don't know. But I do enjoy the first one, if you guys are curious. Hatchet. What do we have, like 4 of these? 3 or 4 of them? I know I've seen the first 3 for sure. They're pretty enjoyable. You know, kind of like similar in, where are we going to go? Let me think here. Kind of the similar vein of like Wrong Turn or like Cabin Fever. You know, it's kind of got that vibe to it, but a little more comedic. Better comedic. I think Adam Green's a better director. He knows how to cast people. They're fun, pretty enjoyable. Not ones I really go back and watch too often. I mean, the first one I would probably definitely watch more. But yeah, we'll go C tier with Hatchet. It. First one I like. It's long as shit, so I don't watch it a lot. Remakes, nah, I'm straight, man. Trash. Fucking garbage. Excuse me, garbage. E tier. I'm gonna no. It's going to F tier. It is F tier. Leprechaun. There's a lot of these movies. Oh boy, the first one's solid. The second one I enjoyed more than the first one. The third one I believe is where he goes to Vegas, which is my favorite. Then you got like Leprechaun in the Hood, Leprechaun in the Hood 2. Those are great. Leprechaun's a fun series. Now, see, I enjoy Leprechaun more than I do Chucky. Just because I don't know. They can kind of take fun at itself more. Leprechaun's a good series overall. Let's go in C tier. VHS. Oh, how many do we got here? We got VHS. We got VHS 2. I don't know. There's several more. I just watched a couple of them, to be honest. I ended up turning them off pretty early in. But I would say the first 2 definitely are worth watching. They're really solid, especially the first one. The second one has the eyeball story. It was really good. That one was probably my favorite of. I would say that short story, and in the first one, I think it's the last story where the people go to this party and they're having like a seance upstairs or something, and things go crazy. Like, it's really clever, and it's got some young directors that are now doing bigger things today. But then I don't know. After that, like once like I don't know who took it over, like Bloody Disgusting or like Shudder maybe started doing them. I just thought they were trash, so we're gonna go C tier. Oh, the Conjuring series. First, once again, the first 2 I enjoyed. But after that, and all like if we're gonna count like the spin-offs of the Conjuring, like is Annabelle on here? I don't think I see Annabelle. So yeah, we're gonna count the whole series. There's a lot of these, and honestly, I probably won't ever go back to watch them again. I've seen the first one quite a few times. Yeah, Conjuring's a D tier. And yeah, the Conjuring house is not haunted. This is all BS. The Warrens were fake. They took advantage of people's emotions. You can go watch some documentaries about this, and there's some stuff about it, especially her husband. He was not a good guy. All I'll say is look into it, because it would probably get me demonetized if I talked about the stuff he was alleged of doing. Zombieland. Not a fan. I just thought, meh. I don't think it's F tier, but not something I enjoy, so E tier. At this point, I was just burnt out on zombie movies, especially comedy ones. Silent Hill, we have the first one, Oh, great game series, by the way. If this was a game series, it'd be probably like A tier because there's some that are kind of meh. But the first two Silent Hill movies I thought were pretty good. The second one not as good as the first. The first was pretty solid. I haven't seen the one that they have out that's like kind of almost like a choose your own adventure type thing where you can follow along with it, but it is on my list to watch. I don't really have like a ton to say about them, so I would probably go D tier as a series. Gremlins is not a horror movie. I'm not grading that. House on Haunted Hill. You got the original Vincent Price black and white. It's a classic. The remake was even solid, to be honest. Did they do more than that? Did they do sequels to that? I'm not sure. I'm just gonna kind of base it off the first one and the remake. Fun movies, you know. Nothing too serious. Kind of shut your brain off. So I think we're going C tier. The Body Snatchers, Invasion of the Body Snatchers. There's a ton of these. If you're gonna count like all the like reboots, like the one with Nicole Kidman, I think like in the early 2000s. There's like a ton of movies that follow this premise, let's say, but nothing spectacular. I mean, the first one's a classic, but after that, I think it's D tier. Jack Frost, The Killer Snowman. I absolutely love these cheesy movies. The second one, especially, is just bonkers where they're in Hawaii. And oh man, if you guys haven't seen these movies, Christmas time is coming up. If you're looking for a winter horror movie where you don't have to, unlike Silent Night, Deadly Night, which is pretty brutal, like this is just something you can have fun with. I like the Jack Frost series, and it's going to go way higher than it probably deserves to be. It's going B tier. Jurassic Park's not a horror movie. Piranha. I know there's like Piranha, Piranha 2. Then you got like the remakes, Piranha, Piranha 3 Double D or whatever. They're all good. The original Piranha is solid, but oddly enough, the remakes I think are better. But that's Alexander Aja, I believe. He's the one that did where are we at here? The Hills Have Eyes remake. So there's good stuff. And I think he did that, or else it's a different guy that did I can't think. Was either that or the guy that did where is it at? There's a lot of movies up here. Feast. It might be the guy that did Feast, but they're okay. Nothing spectacular. It's D tier. And by the way, D tier does not mean it's bad. It just means that usually when I put things in D tier, there's some pretty good stuff, but then there's a lot of bad stuff that comes, like with the later movies. Thanksgiving. Just like Jack Frost. It's a killer turkey. And it's cheesy, it's funny, it's hilarious. You just don't have to take it seriously. I don't think it's as good as Jack Frost at all, but I am putting it C tier. My Bloody Valentine. The original is really good. The remake wasn't terrible, but I didn't really care for it, and I don't know if they brought out any more after that. It's pretty mid, so I would probably go C tier. The Descent. First one, excellent. After that, nothing tremendous. I think we're going to go, don't have a ton to say about it. I would definitely say check out the first one, though, but D tier. Sharktopus, have not seen. The Mummy. Do we have, like, the original Mummy? No. Okay, so I'm not counting the Tom Cruise movies, and I'm not counting the Brendan Fraser movies. The Brendan Fraser movies are amazing, though. You should definitely check them out, but they're family movies. So I'm going to count the original black and white series, which I find all to be classics. They're all good. And there's probably even more mummy movies out there that are horror related that you can check out, but I'm just going to count like the Universal ones. Mummy's A tier. Happy Death Day. I know it's terrible, but I have not seen these yet. They're on my list to watch. I will get around to watching them, so I'm putting them in. I don't know, but I did hear they're great. They're it's probably gonna be B or C tier based on what I hear about it. Quarantine. Oh, so that's like Wreck. I've already counted these, so I'm just gonna put this here since we've already discussed it. Sinister One, I thought was a really good movie. The second one I thought was trash. It's nothing crazy. I mean, you got like the Slipknot looking dude killer. Yeah, it's probably going D tier. We're gonna have a lot of D tier. The Strangers. I have not seen all these. I've seen The Strangers and I've seen the sequel, but I think there is another one. I think there's like the one that's in like the trailer park. But both I thought were solid. Pretty solid movies. But The Strangers is kind of a remake, so D tier. Black Christmas. The original's okay. The remake is not good at all. E tier for Black Christmas. Pet Cemetery. Another Stephen King movie. Scared the shit out of me as a kid. If you know what I'm talking about, the original Pet Cemetery was Zelda upstairs, all deformed and creepy. It wasn't like the dead dude. It wasn't the dead cat. It wasn't none of that. It was a chick upstairs, man. I mean, that is nightmare fuel. The second one's got Eddie Furlong in it. It's not great. They might have remade it. If they did, I didn't see it because I'm just kind of straight. I don't like seeing dead animal stuff, man. That ain't up my alley. I'm going D tier. Or E tier. I'll go E tier. Yeah. Ghostbusters is not a horror movie. Alien vs. Predator is not a horror movie. A Haunted House. I'm not counting that either. I already gave Scary Movie a buy. I'm not doing that. Raz. Never heard of it. 47 Meters Down. Never heard of it. Goosebumps is a TV series. I don't know if they did movies, but if so, I haven't heard of them. I'm just kind of getting some of these out of the way that I know I haven't seen. House of Dark Shadows. I don't think I've seen. It sounds familiar, but let's see here. Chrome Skull. Never seen that. Contracted. Never seen that, I don't think. Same with The Messengers. These must be kind of like some newer movies. All right, let's get back to it. We got Unfriended. This series gets a lot of crap, but I enjoyed it. I know the people are kind of annoying. The kids can be annoying, but you know what? They're kids. What do you expect? I mean, it's realistic to me. I mean, if I look back in my early 20s or teens, I was probably annoying too, and I know all my friends were. So it's kind of believable. Yeah, I really enjoyed these movies. And I have watched them more than one time. So as a series, we're going to go C tier. All right, we got Frankenstein. I'm going to count the originals. This is going to count a bunch. I'm going to count the Universals. I'm going to count the Hammer Frankensteins. And even the Robert De Niro Frankenstein. They're all good. Overall, way better than... I can't think of any that were bad. So we got to go way up here. Got a lot of movies. Frankenstein is B tier. Bride of Frankenstein is my favorite of the bunch. The Dentist. I know I've seen one or two of these. And then Dentist scared the crap out of me, so we're going F tier. The Shining. I think there's only one movie, right? Or I guess if you count I can't think of the name of the movie. Was it Riding the Bullet? Was it Riding the Bullet or something? I don't know. The one that came out last. I don't really think it's a series though. I'm not gonna count it. Cause it ain't really a series. It's got the made for TV movie, but that's like TV. I'm not counting it. But if you are curious, Shining would be S tier. 28 days later, then you got 28 weeks later. I don't know if there's any more than that. At this point, I was done with watching zombie movies. I know a lot of people really love this series, but it's E tier for me. Dracula. We're counting Universal. We're counting Hammer Dracula. Those are the two main ones. They're all amazing. In fact, it's going way up here. Dracula's A tier. Because they're all good, Birdemic. Insanely awful movies. It's one of those so bad it's good because the director, I think, especially with the first one, was trying to make a serious movie. The second one's kind of terrible. I think he kind of caught on to what was going on and made it bad to be bad. They're not good, but they're entertaining. I would say watch the first one. It's E tier. Bikini Bloodbath. It's kind of like in the similar vein of like the Sorority House Massacre, Slumber Party Massacre movies, but like newer. They're funny. They're bad, but they're not terrible. I would probably go D tier with that series. House of Thousand Corpses isn't a series. Like, I mean, it's a standalone movie. So like The Shining, I'm not counting it. Wolf Creek. I've only seen the first one and didn't care for it. I know there's several others, so I'm not going to really comment on that one. I've never seen The Boy. Creep. That's a series I enjoy. I don't know if there's 2 or 3 of them. I've seen them, though. First one's excellent. The second one's, like, a really good follow-up also. I'm not sure who's streaming these, but if you get a chance, watch the first one. It's a really unique found footage movie. I'll go C tier with Creep. Malevolence. I did not know this was a series. I might have seen the first one. I can't really count on it. Grizzly, I've never seen. The Babysitter. I didn't know there was a sequel. I'm going to have to look it up when we get out of here, but I love the first one. But since I haven't seen the series, I can't really count on it, but I would say go watch The Babysitter. Hollow Man, I've only seen the first one. Do we got The Invisible Man? Yeah, that's not even a horror movie, the Hollow Man one, I wouldn't say. See No Evil, I didn't know that there's more than one. I'm not going to count it. Grave Encounters. Grave Encounters, the first one's really good. The second Grave Encounters, not good. I don't know if they did any more than that. I don't think they did, but there might be some out there that I haven't seen. So it's kind of like middle of the road. Since we got so many in D, I'll just put it up here with Creep. C tier. Dead Snow. I've only seen the first, so I can't really comment, but I would say check out Dead Snow. It's not too bad. Salem's Lot. I think we got, Salem's Lot and Return to Salem's Lot, and there might have been a TV movie. Not too bad. Pretty solid. Not great. Very long movie. Probably pretty boring to some people, but there's some pretty solid scenes. It's not E tier. Go D tier. Witchboard 2. These are pretty solid movies. Kind of cheesy 80s movies about the Ouija board and stuff that happens. I enjoy these. I would actually go C tier with the Witchboard franchise. Don't Breathe. Nothing. I did. Yeah, I did see. Yeah. I did not like these at all. Yeah, this is F tier. House. Now, I don't remember if there's a third. I don't think there's a third unless I'm forgetting it, but House and House 2 is a good double feature. The first one was really good. You got the dude from Cheers, man. They're pretty solid. Let's get up here to C tier once again. I think I put that in C tier. Yeah. Stepfather, I'm not seeing these. Chud. Now we got the original Chud, which is kind of like a serious movie, which I don't really like. It's a good movie, but kind of a little boring to me. Then we get to Chud 2. Chud 2, Bud the Chud. They're like, you know what? Let's take this in a whole different direction. Let's make it a comedy. It's kind of like Night of the Creeps in a way, I guess you'd say. It's kind of got like that humor, which is really enjoyable. Like, the two movies together, it's nothing bad, but they're totally different movies, and I kind of like each one for different reasons. But I would say, if you guys can see Bud the Chud, Chud 2, check it out. It's awesome. We'll put that C tier. Necromantic. I know there's two of these. I don't know if they did any more, and I don't want to know if they did any more. These are disgusting. You can probably put two and two together. Necro, there's like stuff going on with dead bodies that you don't normally want to see. People having fun times and stuff. But, especially like when they came out, it was like known as being some of the most nasty stuff out there. I can't really recommend it unless you're into like really gross. If you're like looking to see some like nasty stuff, that's F tier for me because I ain't going back to it. The Prophecy series, I barely remember these. I'm gonna put these in don't remember just because I know I've seen the first one and I don't think I've seen any of the other ones. And I remember I was younger when I seen The Prophecy, so I'd kind of like to check it out as the older. I think it's like a movie like, when you're older, you probably enjoy it more. Darkman, I didn't really think was a horror movie. I remember when I used to go to the video stores when I was a kid. I don't know how many people remember those things, but it was in the action section. But I remember renting them. I think Sam Raimi did them. Didn't really care for them. It's F tier. Toxic Avenger. Now, this is an awesome series. Especially like the first four. I don't know if they did any more after that. I know they did like, 1, 2, 3. I think like, I know I've seen like up until Citizen Toxie, which I think is 4. Killer trauma movies. Just gross out, nudity, violence. It's everything. A little bit of, you got comedy in there. This is a classic series, though. To me, there's none that are bad. There's obviously some that are better than others. Like, the first one's probably the best. I'd say, like, 2 and 3. But, they're all really good. This is actually going pretty high. We're going B tier with the Toxic Avenger series. We are getting down to our final ones. I'm just going to say right here, Quiet Place. I already know where you're going. You are going F tier. Don't like you at all. Tales from the Hood. From what I know, there's only 2 of them, unless I'm wrong. I've only seen the first one, so I can't really judge it as a series. But I love the first one. Check out the first Tales from the Hood. It's a classic. It's just really well made. The Invisible Man. Oh, didn't we already do The Invisible Man? There's so many movies. Sorry, I have to backtrack here. I swear we have The Invisible Man. Or am I thinking or was the other one Hollow Man? So yeah, not counting Hollow Man, if we're just gonna kind of go like with the original black and white series, it's okay. It wasn't my favorite. It's kind of probably like my least favorite of the big Universal movies, and especially as a series, like I'd probably go D tier with it. We got our final 2, Extra. The only ones I know of are Extra and Extra 2. Extra 1 is weird as hell. Like, I would recommend checking it out, but like nothing great. Probably go D tier with that. And our final franchise, Waxwork. I believe this is only 2, Waxwork and Waxwork 2. Both very enjoyable. The first one more than the second one. But the second one's also good too. It's, solid double feature. Oh, where'd you go? Where'd I put Waxwork? Oh, am I crazy? Where'd it go? I don't know. Oh, there it is. But yeah, it's nothing like crazy. I would definitely say check out the first one though. But I would put it C tier. So all right, we finally got it done. Our horror film franchise tier list maker. So you can check out there if you guys want to do your own. So yeah, we only had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 S tier movies, S tier series. Sorry, Friday the 13th, Nightmare on Elm Street, Alien, Evil Dead, and The Thing. Coming in and beneath in A tier, we have Phantasm, Beware the Blob, Night of the Demons, The Exorcist, Halloween, Return of the Living Dead, Night of the Living Dead, Slumber Party Massacre, The Mummy, and Dracula. We got some good B tier movies you can check out. Our C tier, we kind of got a bunch mixed in. D tier, we got a lot. But don't get me wrong, not all these are bad. You know, I know you'll see like D and E tier and you'll be like, oh, these are trash. No, they're not. They're not trash. Especially D tier. D tier and C tier, you know, you could probably put together. E tier is where I'm like, not a lot of F tier. And then some of either I don't know or they just don't belong here. I've only seen one of. But yeah, let me know what you guys think of this in the comments. Let me share your thoughts. Which ones do you think should be A tier? Do you think I just went totally off the wall with some of these? Like, do you think some of these just didn't deserve to be where they're placed? I'm always like, I love to hear about stuff like that. But yeah, this is something different. You know, mostly do video games on this channel, but looking to kind of expand a little bit. Yeah, so I hope you guys have a good rest of your day or night, and I will catch you on the next one.